Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable, the examiners of this seminar proposal, Ma'am Dr. Ella Masita, SPD, MED, and the second examiners is Ma'am Sri Wahyuni, SS, M.Hum, PhD, the Honorable, my supervisor, Ma'am Dr. Randa Radiatan Mardia, M.Hum, and my second supervisor is Ma'am Melati, SPD, MCC. In this occasion, I am Zilhan Shalsabillah. I would like to present my thesis proposal with the title, The Challenges of EFL Students in Digital Reading During COVID-19 Pandemic. In Chapter 1, there is a research background that contains what and why the researcher chose this topic. There are several sections in this chapter, namely background of the research question, research purpose, and significance of the research, and the last is limitation of the research. First, we'll go to the background of the research. Coronavirus disease, or COVID-19, which has now become a global pandemic, has dramatically affected the public health in all sectors, including Indonesia. As a result, the Indonesian government in particular made large-scale regulation for every community to keep distance from everyone in order to save themselves from the spread of COVID-19 virus. With conditions like this, it forced every student should be able to use and utilize technology as much as possible in their learning activities. Rapid technological advance helped to elevate human problems in all aspects of life, including reading problems. In the digital era, information moved very quickly. Human lifestyle also changed in line with the existing digital era. Previously, most people read information through newspaper or magazine or cold printed text, but now people have changed their habit by reading information through online pages, using their smart devices called mobile phones. As a result, most readers now spend all their time reading a variety of information using digital devices, and it is called digital reading. According to Nordquist 2017, he defines digital reading as the manner of extracting facts from the textual content in virtual gadgets, such as cellular telephones, tablets, e-reader, and computer systems. Next, we move to the research questions. There are 3 research questions based on the background that researchers have put forward. Finally, the formulation of the problem that these researchers take in this study is as follows. First is, how do students do their digital reading during the pandemic? The second is, what difficulties do students face in digital reading during the pandemic? And the last one is, what strategies do students use to overcome difficulties in digital reading during the pandemic? Next is research purpose. This research generally aims to find out how do students do their digital reading during COVID-19 pandemic. This will include the following. First is to describe the way students do their digital reading during the pandemic. The second is to find out what are the difficulties that the students face in digital reading during the pandemic. And the last is to find out what strategies do students apply to minimize their obstacles in digital reading. Next is significance of the research. This research contains several benefits, including increasing knowledge and be an alternative way for students to read digitally before and during the pandemic, as a form of guidance and reference material in the future for the future researchers. And the last is become one of the completeness materials graduation requirements from Jambi University. Next is limitation of the research. The researcher's subject is 5th semester students of the English Education Study Program. The research object is limited to the EFL students who are doing a digital reading during COVID-19 pandemic. Next, we move to the chapter 2. In Chapter 2, there are literature review. The literature review discusses several previous studies that are closely related to the author's research, which contains several aspects such as definition of the reading, digital reading text, students' difficulties and challenges, including navigation and integration, and then digital reading strategies. And the last is previous study. First, for definition, including reading, I use the theory from Dean 2013 and Baker 2008. In the second is digital reading, including digital reading text. I use the theory from Lew et al. 2011, Queiro and Dobler 2007, and Cho and Afflerbach 2017. The third one is students' difficulties and challenges, including navigation and integration. In navigation, I use the theory from Cho 2014, and for integration, I use the theory from Kinch 1998. The fourth one is digital reading strategies. I use the theory from Block 1986 and Sutarsha 2000. For the previous study, I use the theory from Divya P. and Muhammad Hanifa K. 2020, Lely Afriana 2001, Lauren M. Singer, and Patricia A. Alexanders 2016. Next, we move to the chapter 3. In this chapter, it contains several topics such as research design, research sites and time, research methods, technique of data collection, validity of data, technique of analyzing data. For research design, the design of this research is descriptive qualitative research. Descriptive research is research that asks about a fact that really happens. There is no manipulation in it. Descriptive research explains something naturally. So in this study, the researchers only measure something that already happened. For research sites and time, this research was conducted through an interview process via the WhatsApp application due to the pandemic situation that did not support direct interviews at Jambi University. The contributors in this study were around 10 students of English Education Class 2019 at Jambi University. For research time, this research will be carried out in the following semester. For research method, in this study, the methods that will be used is a questionnaire and an interview, in which researchers will collect information about how students do their digital reading during the COVID-19 pandemic. The questionnaire is a collection of questions made by researchers that will be used as a medium to obtain information from participants about the phenomena or problems they know. The questionnaire consists of approximately 16 questions, which contains about digital reading habits, challenges, and strategies. The questionnaire will be created using Google Forms to make it easier for participants to fill out their answer. The questionnaire consists of 3 parts, namely about how students read digitally, students' difficulties in digital reading, and the strategies students use to reduce the difficulties they encountered when they are reading through digital. The interview method is used to find out about the experience of contributors. This interview method is used to obtain information about several questions related to the topic of discussion. Researchers will use semi-structured interview in this study. This interview consists of 10 questions about how students read digitally. The researchers will use semi-structured interview in this study. This interview consists of 10 questions about how students read digitally, difficulties, and also strategies they might use to overcome the difficulties they experience. Due to the ongoing pandemic situation, the author plans to conduct an interview process via WhatsApp social media by utilizing the voice note feature. Technique of data collection. In this study, the researcher applied the interview and documentation retrieval method to obtain data and used an open-ended question instrument. Researchers in the study used semi-structured interview by combining two ways of data collection. For the instrument, the researchers only used two different methods, that is, questionnaire and interview. For validity of the data, the researchers used triangulation data. To check the validity of a study, researchers use the triangulation technique. This technique is one of that is widely used to check the validity of the conclusion of the study. The triangulation data source intends to re-examine and compare the consistency of information obtained in different ways and at different times in qualitative methods. In conclusion, the researchers use triangulation methods which aim to check the validity of the data that researchers obtain from different participants at different time and in different ways. And then researchers will reconfirm to the participants whether the conclusion that the researchers made are valid or not. In technique of analyzing the data, the researchers use descriptive in data analysis techniques in this research. There were several steps that applied by the writer to analyzing the data from the students' challenges is in doing digital reading during COVID-19 pandemic. These steps are as the following. First, identifying the data based on the statement problems. The second is classifying each answer based on each item of the questionnaire to know about the challenges in doing digital reading during COVID-19 pandemic. The researchers use qualitative method based on how many students answer each item in questionnaire. All items in the questionnaire were drawn on the table questions. And the last is the researchers will arranging the data taken from questionnaires in form of table. In addition, the researchers also concluded data from interviews. The researchers will analyze the data based on the participants' answer and then write it down in the form of transcription. The steps for analyzing the data will be the same as the questionnaire one, namely identifying the answer, classifying them, and then arranging the answer in sequence. I think that's all about my presentation of my thesis proposal. Thank you for the nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.